What is going on, everyone? So let me get this straight. New York now wants to ban body armor for civilians following the active shooter in Buffalo because he was wearing body armor and was shot. And now regular law-abiding citizens are going to be prohibited from owning and wearing body armor to protect themselves while in the streets that are ridden with skyrocketing crime. So let me know where you're tuning in from, city, state, and let me know if you happen to live in New York. Sorry if you do. If you are from this great nation, where, city and state in this great nation. If you're tuning in from outside this great nation, let us know. Now, a lot of people from overseas are weighing in on the gun control debate. However, we're going to get to that in a minute. What I want to talk about is the body armor debate, which is happening right now. Now, the body armor debate in New York, there's a bill that is about to be passed. They're trying to push it through for final approval, in that civilians would not be able to possess body armor. And the sale of body armor, of course, to civilians would be prohibited. Now, keep in mind, as this bill, this law is being, they're trying to pass this law, keep in mind that an article just came out, and it's on CNN.com. You can check it out for yourself. I'm going to read a little excerpt from it. New Yorkers don't feel safe at home anymore. Residents say they're overwhelmed with fear and anxiety as the NYPD struggles to rein in crime. Crime, as you know, has skyrocketed in New York City and many other cities across the country. We all know this. This young woman they interviewed, Dana Aber, was standing at the platform when they interviewed her. And she is an actress in New York City. And she said, despite the extreme heat, now anyone who has ever been in New York City, you know that the subways are about 20 degrees hotter than the outside temperature. So it could be sweltering in the subway in summer. And despite the extreme heat, this young lady said she was wearing a leather jacket. When asked why she was wearing a leather jacket, I thought maybe it would be just a little bit better protection than a thin coat in case I got shot. So that's like the state of affairs right now in cities like New York. You have residents, innocent civilians, who are just trying to get to work, get to school, go about their day. They're so stricken with fear and anxiety of being shot that they're wearing leather jackets in the hopes that if they do get shot, the leather jacket will somehow give them some layer of protection over a thinner jacket. Now, anyone who knows anything about ballistics will tell you that a leather jacket is not going to do anything. That being said, now we're gonna get to lack of knowledge when it comes to guns and it comes to ammo, because there's a lot of lack of knowledge out there. You see a lot of people talking about guns and ammunition and body armor. They have no idea what they're talking about, and it is painful to listen to as someone who knows about it. It's kind of like a lawyer listening to someone talk about their rights and the laws and, legalities of certain things, and they just are completely off base. They have no idea what they're talking about. And the lawyer's just sitting back like, saying this person's an idiot. So, that being said, that's the situation right now. New Yorkers are in such fear for their safety, they're doing things like wearing thicker jackets to help, maybe, in the event they get shot. So that's what New York, and now, 221B Tactical sells body armor, and as of late, been overwhelmed with regular, everyday people coming in looking for body armor protection. Mothers who are walking their children to school, rabbis who are walking back and forth to synagogue, deli and bodega owners who are saying that crime is out of control and they want to wear something while in their store and walking back and forth. Regular, every school teacher. We just had a school teacher come in who walks to work, said, I don't feel safe. I want to get some concealed body armor, which we offer. We offer this shirt that it's essentially a shirt that has body armor that you wear under your clothing, and you put your clothing and your jacket over it. And those have been flying out the door because people just don't feel safe and they want to make sure that they are protected. So some mentally deranged individual goes and does a heinous act, and in the midst of that, he's wearing body armor. And because of that, everyone now is prohibited from owning body armor to protect themselves. Now, the first question is, if you're going to outlaw body armor, will the criminals and mentally ill people who want to carry out these disgusting acts of violence, will they or will they not, A, still commit these crimes, B, will they still find a way to get the body armor? So you're going to say now that you're going to outlaw it for civilians. Now, these are people that are committing murder. They are planning out mass murder, which is illegal. But you are now going to say that the mentally deranged individual that is disregarding the laws that outlaw murder and clearly outlaw mass murder, they are going to disregard those laws, but they will abide by the law because they'd be afraid of breaking the law of not possessing body armor. That is what we're being told is the situation here. And if they don't have body armor when they go to commit mass murder and someone with a gun is there and shoots them, they can neutralize that threat. However, we're also looking to, at the same time, put a ban on what one politician said, all semi-automatic, and now the president himself even said it, all semi-automatic weapons. All semi-automatic weapons. Now, for those of you who know anything about guns, the gun that a lot of people shoot, a lot of people have is a Glock 19, right? I own a few of them, and it is a semi-automatic pistol. Most people who are talking don't even know what semi-automatic means. They're just saying the term, and they're thinking it's referred to like an AR-15 or what have you, which is a semi-automatic weapon, and some AR-15s can be fully automatic. Most of the people talking don't know the difference between semi and fully. Now, they're saying all semi-automatic weapons, which would include your run-of-the-mill handgun like the Glock 19. It is a semi-automatic pistol. So, that said, those would be relegated only to law enforcement, and there is a small caveat. There is a small caveat in this bill, in the laws that are out there. Now, keep in mind that the politicians have put in exemptions for all of these body armor laws and the gun laws, that they have snuck in exemptions for bodyguards. Why? Because most of these people have private security and they have bodyguards. And what do they want their bodyguards to have? Well, they want their bodyguards to carry semi-automatic weapons. Should someone try to hurt them, they want the person protecting them to have a semi-automatic weapon. They also want the person protecting them to be wearing body armor. So if the bad guy tries to shoot their bodyguard will be okay and will survive and will continue to be able to protect them, the politician. And don't take my word for it. I'm looking at it right now. Go look it up for yourself. There's an exemption for bodyguards. Now, let me ask you this. Would a law banning body armor for everyday law-abiding civilians who are scared, they're on the subway in 100-degree temperatures wearing leather jackets in the hopes that it'll help stop a bullet, which it won't, but that's their only recourse right now. And if there is a ban on body armor for civilians, they will have no recourse. That's it. They're just going to have to cross their fingers and go out there where crime is out of control. We're not going to talk about why crime is out of control, but crime is out of control. Murder is skyrocketing in cities like New York and Chicago. Why is that? We all know why. So, what we're saying now is, if we make the gun laws stricter and we make it harder to get a gun, the criminals, who by definition are those individuals who don't follow the laws and break the laws, will not use guns and not use body armor. That's the thinking around it. If we take it away from those who are the law-abiding, the criminals will follow along, and they too will not. Now, anyone who knows anything about Chicago, and this has been said a million times, Chicago, strictest gun laws in the country. By far, doesn't even, no one else even comes close. Strictest gun laws in the country. Murder, violence, shootings, out of control. What happened in Uvalde, Texas? Horrific. 19 children, 2 teachers murdered. However, if you just look at a 12 or 10-day period in Chicago, that's how many people get murdered. Roughly, every 12 days-ish, you're seeing roughly that many people get murdered in Chicago. Shooting victims. Now, if you just want to look at the number of shooting victims, now you're talking in a 10-day period, you're talking 50, 60, 70, over some weekends, 100 casualties of shootings. Now, strictest gun laws in the country. Strictest, by far. How is that? Is it that the criminals are not abiding by the gun laws and they're possessing illegal firearms? How could that be? The laws are in place to prevent them from doing that. So if they have the strictest gun laws, and now let's say we put those same laws in nationwide. We want to raise the age limit. We want to do all these things, which I'm not saying I'm opposed to. I'm just saying, if we do those things, will it help make a difference and will it deter crime? Clearly in Chicago, it's not. So once again, I'm not saying I'm against any of these proposed policies. What I'm saying is it going to have the result? Is the net effect going to be what we want? Because if it's not going to result, and we know it's not going to result in what our ultimate goal and ambition is, why are we focusing on that? Is it just a talking point? Is it something that we're going to say because we think people are so stupid and they're going to just not even think about it? And we're going to say, we're going to put these laws in place. We're going to put these laws in place. And we're going to just pass them and we're just going to pray. Because there's something to be said for passing laws, and then there's something to be said for looking back and seeing if the laws that were passed made a difference. Clearly in places like Chicago, they have not. And that's not my opinion. That's based on the fact. That's based on the numbers. There's no opinion or emotion about that. So, let me ask this. What has been done since the first highly publicized school shooting, Columbine? What has been done by these people who are in positions of power to prevent these things from happening again. Now, those of you who remember back many years ago, there was a shooting at a Sandy Hook Elementary School. I'm pulling up the numbers now. Now, during that time, the president was President Obama, Barack Obama. At that time, he tasked somebody with solving this problem, solving this issue of school shootings. And he said, I'm tasking this individual to get to the bottom of this, figure out what's going on, and put in laws and policies and guidelines and restrictions to prevent this from happening again. And he said he had just the man for the job, and he assigned this task to the person he trusted that had the most competency to get it done. That person is now the current president of the United States. And sadly, based on what I'm looking at right now, nothing was done. And that's why the shootings have continued. Nothing is done. Now, once again, this is not my opinion. I'm looking at the historical facts of what happened, who was tasked with this assignment, and what has been a result of what was that person's actions. I'm not saying anyone's good, anyone's bad. I don't care about that. Black, white, Republican, Democrat, gay, straight, male, female. I don't care. None of that matters when it comes to children being shot in schools. So let's put all that aside. Someone was given a job. What did they do that helped reduce this from happening? Sadly, right now, what we're looking at is nothing. Now, if I'm wrong and someone wants to provide some information for me, that since then, Obama was in office, Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting, since then, if someone can comment now, what was done to help prevent incidents like this from happening again, let me know. And let me know your proof, not your emotions, not your speculation, not your blind hatred towards some guy. What was done and how did it work out? And what has been the net effect of it? Because we're not seeing anything. We're seeing a lot of people talking. We're seeing a lot of people yabbering. But here we are. A crazy kid goes, gets these guns, walks into a school through an unlocked door in an elementary school, unlocked door, and kills 21 people. So we're saying, you know what? Make the law so that he has to be 21 to buy the weapons that he bought. 21. Now, who here watching this video can say that if the age to purchase a firearm, the firearms used in this incident, was 21, who here can say that there would have been no possibility whatsoever that this young man would have got his hands on a weapon somehow, some way? No possibility. He was determined to do it. We saw he was determined to do it. He was mentally ill. Who here can say with 100% guarantee he would not have been able to get his hands on a firearm? Because we know, look at Chicago. Shootings galore, dozens every weekend. Pretty sure the people involved in those shootings, meaning the shooters, didn't go to a gun store, didn't get a background check, didn't get their fingerprints done, they didn't do all that stuff. They didn't buy this gun that they're going and shooting and murdering and executing people in the middle of the street in Chicago. They did not go through the normal procedure to acquire these guns. Now, the one thing you never see is you never see the report when they arrest these people who are committing these acts of violence in Chicago, New York, LA, where dozens and dozens and dozens of people are getting shot and killed, right? You never see, let's see what the report is, what the stats are on where they acquired that gun. How many of those individuals that are committing these shootings and these murders, when arrested, if they're arrested, I mean, we know in some cities they're arrested and they're released, but when they're arrested, we ask them one question: where did you get this gun? And they might not tell you where they got the gun, but you can ask them, did you purchase the weapon used in this crime at a gun store or a gun show? Now, I would love to see the response to those questions. Did you purchase the weapon used in this crime in a gun shop with a valid background check, criminal check, and or a gun show? Did you? Where'd you get the gun? I don't think we see that because we know the answer. We know that the weapons used by these people who are committing all these shootings in all these cities across, and as we know, the majority of the people getting killed are people of color. We all know that. No one wants to say it, but I'll say it. We all know that. Where are they getting their weapons? Legally or illegally? Now, if they're saying they're getting them illegally, what is the purpose of making stronger legal laws? What's the purpose? If they're not going through the system, it's not like they're going through the system and they're like sneaking through because the laws are weak. If that were the case, I would say make the laws more stringent. But the overwhelming majority of these people are not going through the system where the laws are weak or finding a loophole. They are circumventing the system altogether. Altogether. So what is the point of making the system stronger? It's almost as if you have a home and you have a security system in this home. And the security system covers all the doors. Covers all the doors, right? And one day you come home and your home was broken into. So you look around and you find out that the person who broke into your home didn't come through a door. They came by boring a hole in the wall in the back corner of your house. So you call the security company and you say, hey, what's going on? We need to up the security here at my house. And the security company says, you're right. This is unbelievable. This is unacceptable. We are now going to put alarm sensors on all the windows. We're going to get all the windows covered. All the windows covered. And you say, okay. So they come in and they put sensors on all the windows. Got it. Well, a couple weeks go by and now your home gets broken into again. And now you're like, what's going on here? What's happening? How is this happening? And you find that the criminals bore another hole in the wall somewhere else. Or maybe they climbed on the roof and they came through the roof. They drilled a hole in your roof and they dropped in. And they stole all your stuff. And so you call the security company again and you say, what is going on here? I need better protection. And they say, sir, ma'am, we got it. We're not only going to do the sensors on the doors, and not only are we going to do the sensors on the windows, but we're also going to put sensors on all the vents, like the exhaust vents and the dryer vent and the kitchen vent that comes out the exhaust oil. We're going to put sensors on all of those to make sure that no one breaks into your home. At what point would you stop the people who are continuously coming out to your house and continuously pushing more sensors and more security features and more gizmos around your house, at what point would you stop and say, hey, listen, this is insanity. All these sensors on the doors and windows, they're not going through the doors and windows. They're not going through the doors and windows. They're avoiding all these sensors are not doing anything. They're not doing anything. These people are disregarding all of that. They're cutting a hole in the ceiling. They're cutting a hole in the wall. Sir, ma'am, what we need are more sensors around your house. We need some more sensors on some of these other doors and windows here so we can prevent this from happening again. You wouldn't stand for it. You would get rid of those people and say, get out of here. Get the hell out of my house. You're not selling me more sensors for doors and windows. I need something to solve this problem. They're cutting through the roof. They're cutting through the wall. I need to figure out something to stop that. And that's exactly what's going on with gun laws. We are only creating more laws that they are going to circumvent. It's not like they're finding loopholes. It's not like taxes, people, where people are finding loopholes in the tax code to not pay taxes, right? You would think if that was an issue, they would just come out with more tax laws and close the loopholes. But they don't. I wonder why. Anyhow, so let's think logically here. What is the one common denominator with every high-profile school shooting we've seen in the last 20 years? Can you name the one common denominator that has been a part of all the high-profile school shootings over the last 20 years? Let's see if someone in the comments below can name what. There's only one. There's only one. What is the common denominator? Let's see if you know. So now, let's ask ourselves, what does a ban on body armor for civilians who are simply trying to make it to and from work and to school safely, what does that do? Who does that hurt? Who does it hurt? Is it going to affect the criminals who are not following the law anyway? Do you think it's going to deter them from getting body armor and getting body armor somehow, some way, circumventing the system and the laws, so when they go to do their mass shooting, they have body armor? I want to know what will happen when, after the body armor ban goes into effect. I want to know what will happen when they see someone go do one of these shootings and they're wearing body armor. They're going to do the same thing that they do in Chicago, where these people are shooting each other every single day, every single night. They are completely disregarding the 1 million gun laws in Chicago. And the politicians sit there saying, I don't know. I don't know how this is happening. How are all these guys getting these guns and shooting all these people and murdering all these people? God, the gun laws, are they just not following the gun laws? Could that be? Could it be possible that they're just disobeying the laws and getting weapons on the black market, buying them on street corners? How could this be? How is this still happening? They know. They know. They just think you and I are stupid enough. So when it keeps happening, they're like, listen, we need stricter gun laws here. This is about gun control. We need stricter gun laws. We got to close the gun show loophole. We got to change this. Like, these guys are getting their guns at gun shows. Do they really think we're that stupid that these criminals are doing it? Maybe 0.5% of these people are doing that. But come on. Let's be real. We're not that stupid. Anyhow, we have an option here. one of the things is a database of sorts. Now, a database of sorts for some of these troubled individuals. Some of you may or may not know. Nicholas Cruz, the young man who committed the shooting at Parkland, the FBI had been to his home multiple times. Multiple times. Very little known fact. So, if we have individuals like that, where they're on the police radar, they're on, in this case, the FBI radar, do you think that there should be a database of sorts, not a criminal database, but a database? Now, listen, Homeland Security has their watch list, right? They have their watch list. These are people who've committed no crime, but they're just keeping a little closer eye on them just in case, right? So why not create a watch list of sorts for people like these troubled young men that are having multiple run-ins with the law, that they're on the radar in some cases of the FBI? Why not create a watch list and say, after X amount of run-ins with the law, and they deem that you may have something from a psychological standpoint a little off, we put you on this watch list. And when you go to buy a firearm or you go to buy ammunition, if you are on this watch list, not a criminal background check, because you haven't committed the crime yet, so you may be free and clear to buy that weapon because you have no criminal background, but you happen to be on this other list over here that says the police have been to your house for you acting crazy a dozen times between the ages of 13 and 17, and maybe even the FBI is on your case and keeping an eye out for you. Maybe we'll do a check on that list too. And if you are on that list, there's a hold. And the local law enforcement or county law enforcement, state, federal, whatever, whoever is watching you, whoever put you on the list gets notified. They get notified that you are attempting to buy a firearm or ammunition. And now they come in and they got to do a little bit of a deeper dive background check. Because if that were the case with the young man who just did the shooting in Uvalde, Texas, if that was the case for Nicholas Cruz, and if that was the case for a lot of these other crazy individuals that are doing these acts of violence, if that were the case, maybe someone would have been tipped off. Maybe an extra watch. Maybe you see the kid walking out of the house with a really big duffel bag. Maybe you are preventing some of these things. That, to me, is common sense. Common sense doesn't dictate, make the laws that they are circumventing stronger. Because that'll do it. That'll do it. The laws they're not following to begin with. Just put more laws in. Because more laws might make them then follow the law. They're about to commit murder. They're not following the law. They don't care about the law. So you could put in 100 more laws. We're going to raise the age limit to this. We're going to reduce the magazine capacity to this. We're going to do this. You got to do a jumping jack. You got to eat 3 Swedish fish. All this crazy stuff that they're putting in. Come on. Come on. What are we doing here? Are we really doing anything? Has anything changed from Columbine to Sandy Hook to Parkland to now Uvalde? What's changed? Let's see one politician to say, well, I passed a law. I passed a law that said this, and this. And because I passed that law, this was prevented. I haven't seen one politician stand up and say, this law will prevent this, and this is how, and this I'm putting in place, this policy, this program, whatever, because it is, by the record, proving that it would help stop these. They just keep coming out with more of the same laws that the criminals aren't following. That's it. That's it. Yet, don't forget, they're putting in a loophole and an exemption for their bodyguards. Don't forget that. Very important. Very important to note that. Because their safety is very important. And the people who are protecting them, they need fully automatic weapons, semi-automatic weapons, high-capacity magazines, and full body armor protection. And if you think some of the people that are proposing this ban on body armor don't have body armor for them and their family in the bodyguard's car should something happen, I know many bodyguards. I know many people who do executive protection. And the one thing that's common is not only will they wear body armor, but should the you-know-what hit the fan, they have a body armor vest for every member of that family that they throw on them, they strap on, they say, move, 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 we gotta go. If you think that these people are going to relinquish all those body armor vests that are in the hands of their bodyguards should something happen and their family needs to go on the move, do you think that? Do you think they will give up all those body armor vests for them and their families? If you do, send me a message. I got some oceanfront property in Nevada for you. It's only going up in value. So let's see where this goes. Let's see what happens here. Let's see how the people who are suggesting these things, some of whom are responsible for leaving a few hundred million weapons in the hands of terrorists, are saying now about gun control here. I would love to hear from you. What is, outside of more gun laws that the criminals aren't following, what should be done and could be done today that will make a difference tomorrow? That's what we want to know. Does it involve the structure of the schools, logistics within the schools, protection in the schools? Now we're talking about supermarkets. So I don't think it should stop at schools. I think that schools, of course, should have high levels of security because you have children in there that are completely vulnerable. But what about the supermarkets? What about the malls where these other shootings are occurring? What needs to be put in place? You can say, oh, we're going to come up with a policy of, armed security in schools. Okay. Well, then what about the supermarket? What are we going to have armed security everywhere? Right? You're going to walk into the subway to get yourself a foot long, number 6, hold a mayo, and there's going to be a guy in there with a gun as protection? So although the armed security personnel, yes, I was just in a gas station. I was traveling. I went to a gas station. It was a gas station. One of those big gas stations that had a big deli connected to it, right? And there was an armed security guy guarding the snacks. He was standing next to a rack of potato chips. Looked like he was probably a retired, older black gentleman. Looked like probably retired military or police. Standing there, he had his gun on his hip, shirt that said security, and he was standing there next to the potato chips and next to the Red Bull, just hanging out there. And I'm saying to myself, the gas station has a man inside protecting the snacks, and we don't have anyone in our schools? What is that about? I don't know. You guys tell me. Make it make sense. What's an idea? What are solutions? Real solutions. I'd like to know. Thanks for watching. Make sure you are subscribed to our mailing list. We have a lot of great, awesome, unbelievable stuff to help keep you and your family safer every single day. Check it out. The Sheepdog Nexus is our little private group family. We have our Sheepdog group on Facebook, where we give you knowledge and information to help keep you safer, help you be smarter, more prepared for when things like this happen? How do you respond? What do you do? Where do you go? What's the second thing? What's the second most important thing you should do in the event that you're somewhere and someone starts shooting? Those are questions that you need to ask yourself. If you don't know the answers, maybe you need to join a group of people that have the answers and can provide you with the knowledge. All right, everyone. Be safe out there. We'll see you next time.